Okay, I had to do a test just to make sure that the audio was okay. But I wanted to make a video. I feel like I haven't made a video like this in a while. But like, I just want to put it in your head. I just want to remind you that when you carry a certain energy, when you have a certain type of heart, it can be very dangerous to not be aware that not everyone around you thinks the same way or feels the same way about life. You know what I mean? And I think it also becomes really easy to kind of rose-colored glasses a situation and like believe that it's more pure than it is. And I think I've fallen victim to this a few times because I like to believe in the best of everyone. I like to believe that people have pure intentions when they come towards me because I have pure intentions when I come towards other people. This isn't the case. This is not the truth. And I don't know. I think it's because from a logical standpoint, also it is so windy. I need to stop being so windy. God. I love the wind, but not right now while I'm trying to film. God. From a logical standpoint, I don't want to believe that people would only be interacting with me to siphon my energy or drain my energy, right? But it is necessary to have that awareness and understand that as like a facet of your reality. Also, I'm going to turn around and hopefully the wind is not as much of an issue. Get different lighting now. Like when I look back at my personal relationships, I can confidently say that I had pure motives, I have pure intentions, but like, this isn't the case for the people who dealt with me. Like a lot of the times, and once again, it doesn't make sense from my perspective because I'm not going out looking to exploit people, looking to drain people. But this is the way that some people think, if we can call them people, I guess. I don't know. Like, I am a very loving person. I'm very patient, very understanding. And even people with less than pure motives, I can still kind of understand where they're coming from. And it's so dangerous if you like, I don't know. Because then when we think about the story of Jesus, like, my personal interpretation of that story is not that he was sacrificed willingly, not that was supposed to happen, but that was just what happened. You know, he had such an open heart. He was so loving. You know, he was like, okay, if this is what y'all want to do, sure. You know, and so it happened. He got murked. You know, and I feel like that sort of thing is happening on a global scale at this point. Like, so many people have been victims of the system and like human greed. It's not even funny. And what prompted this video, if I can be transparent, is because I was watching a tarot video and she was basically talking about like purity and pure energy and like how some people just want to siphon one's energy. And it's so hard for me to wrap my head around that as a person who doesn't go around doing that. You know what I mean? Also, I'm going to go this way because who just wants to go in a straight line, you know? Anyways, one thing that I've had to like reconcile with, one thing that I've had to understand is that it will not be confusing when someone truly is down for you, when someone truly cares for you. It is not going to be confusing. Like, you're not going to have moments where you're like, why did they do that? Like, why are they moving this way? Why are they talking to me like this? Like, I thought they cared about me. Like, that's never going to be a moment. Like, I think so many people fall prey to the mask that others wear. And we all wear masks. I was thinking about this the other day. Like, we all wear masks. It's not like an inherently bad thing to wear a mask to like be inauthentic, because that's kind of how our society is programmed, you know? You're supposed to put on a mask. You're supposed to be jovial in certain situations, you know? And, yeah, I feel like a lot of people fall prey to the I love yous that people hand out, you know? And like, earlier this year, I met these two individuals. God bless them. I hope they're doing well. But they threw around the word I love you a lot. And it really made me reflect on my relationship with the word. I mean, partially. For one thing. Also, sorry about the wind. I really hope it's not a factor. For one thing, the word love is in my last name. It's a part of my name. Like, energetically, spiritually, we can say a lot about that. And so they would say the word love a lot. They would say I love you a lot. And it made me think, it made me reflect on my relationship with the word. And I even remember saying at some point to them, I was like, you use that word a lot. It makes me re-examine myself. But I recognize that to some degree they were only using it to kind of people please and get what they want, which is a very powerful thing. You know, I don't wish any ill towards them or anyone really. Honestly, they kind of made my life a little bit better. I was in a really weird time, and regardless of their intentions, like, they did help me out a lot, right? But once again, I feel like a lot of people fall prey to that sort of behavior. Like, just because someone says I love you does not mean that they do. And even if they do love you, that doesn't mean that they know how to show up for you, which is really important. I feel like a lot of people kind of forget that love is not just a word, it's also a verb. It's also an action, you know? And if there's no action, what are you doing? What are you doing? Also, I'm so sweaty right now. Like, I feel like energetically, spiritually, if this makes sense, because once again, the word is in my literal last name. Like, I have the word love in my name, right? And I feel like, energetically, spiritually, amongst other things, I just know that that's one of those words that you are very careful with, because it has a lot of consequences, both positive and negative. And some people don't really think about that. They're just like, I love you. Now give me attention, you know? And I was watching this Ariana Grande interview. I know I was just talking about the word love. I love Ariana Grande. Like, she's one of those artists where I'm like, you know, I'm down for you. I enjoy you. And I'm not a stan. I don't like go out of my way to purchase things from her or anything like that. But I am very, like, vocal about my adoration for her, you know? And this being said, I was watching an interview where it was like one of the recent interviews, and she was having somebody, like, give her some makeup or something like that, like, because I guess she needed, like, a refresher on her lipstick or something, I don't know. And they came onto the scene and she was like, I love you, thank you so much. Like, that was her, like, giving gratitude. Like, she was just, and I don't really love the idea of, like, the chosen one archetype. I don't really entertain that too often. But for the most part, we can agree that chosen ones, more often than not, do not become famous, are not the celebrities that you see on the red carpet, right? But to some degree, I do heavily feel like Ariana Grande is like of that variety. And like, she has immense fame and like social capital, whatever you have you say that. So it's arguable, sure, because often chosen ones are like scrutinized and like villainized. And sure, she's had her run in with like being villainized and shit, but she is mostly liked, you know. But I say all that to say, I don't know. Maybe she's not necessarily a chosen one. I don't know. When you kind of put language to certain words, it kind of muddies the water, because then we get all analytical and like semantical, and it's like, does it really matter what you call it as long as she knows what she is and she's doing what she's doing, you know? Because I was also going to say, like, she's obviously an earth angel, and you know, that's a thing. But does it really matter what we call it, right? Anyways, what was I saying? I don't know what I was saying. This is going to be a chaotic video, but yeah, I think, and it is also a scary thought for me to think that she could possibly be like deceiving us all and like not really who she portrays herself to be. You know, that's a terrifying thought, because she portrays herself to be such a loving, like, love and light sort of energy. Like in her interviews, through her music, like, and that's how I fell in love with her, like through the music, like, you know, because I started seeing her sing on Victorious, and I was like, oh shit, this girl got some talent, you know. And then she, you know, released her own music, and I was like, oh yeah, shit, this is awesome. And I don't know, she had an early start, and I feel like that's kind of what helped her. You know, the earlier you start, the easier it kind of is, for the most part. And I had my opportunities, I had my chances to go down that road at an early age, but I wasn't as focused, I wasn't as determined as I am now. And I think for good reason. I think if I went down that path, I probably would have done some things, experienced some things that I should not have. You know, I feel like I would have definitely gone deeper down the drug world than I have, because I would have had more access, I would have had more money, I would have had just more. And I think that's a problem in and of itself, like access. Like, right now as I speak, I am 1 day sober, if even a full day. And it is a struggle. Like, because I have access, first of all. Like, I have so much access. There's like literally, like without saying too much, like there's literally a grovery where I've been staying at. And like, you know, that's a thing. Now, granted, I do prefer blunts. I do prefer like having a rolled up thingy. So that's a factor, but there's so much access. Anyways, speaking of access, like I said in the beginning of this, if you have a pure energy, if you have like a strong heart center, it is so necessary that you be wary of who has access to you and like how much people have access to you. Because once again, it's crazy to think about, but a lot of people in this world do not have the purest of intentions. And you know, it's not a judgment call. It's not necessarily like, you know, you're a bad person. But like, once again, a lot of people really do not have pure intentions when it comes to others. There's this one individual that lives in the same house that I do right now. And I won't say too much about her or the situation. I've talked about it publicly before. So there's that. But I don't know, I kind of get the feeling from her, if I could use her as an example, that she only socializes to benefit and to gain something. And some of you might be hearing that and you might be like, okay, and? But like, my thing is, the way that I've developed my spirituality, I understand that love is like a selfless thing. It's not something that you do just for selfish reasons. Like if you love someone and you verbally love someone and like you actively love someone, like you go out of your way to show that, you know? And once again, I feel like a lot of people use that word way too loosely. Like I told you about those two individuals, they were twins actually. They use that word so much. Like they would constantly, it was like a sort of defense mechanism. Like whenever shit was going down, they were like, I love you. You know, I love you. You know, I thought we were cool and all that shit. And I'm like, it's a great tactic. But really, it just reminds me that a lot of people, unfortunately, use love as a sort of weapon and as a sort of tool. Oh my God, there's a Demi Lovato line that's coming to mind because I recently was like streaming her, or there. I always mispronounce, but I was streaming there, Dancing with the Devil, The Art of Starting Over. I think that's a masterpiece album. Like, I think it's kind of clear she was like pandering to certain audiences, etc., but like, I think it's a masterpiece of an album. I don't care. And at some point, she's like, what? Fuck, I'm losing the line. I had it on my brain. Fuck. Oh, okay, I remember. It's from, I don't remember what song it is from, but she says, love is just a means to an end. And I really sat with that line for a moment when I was listening to it. I was like, whoa. And I think for a lot of people, that is how love works. Like, it's just a means to an end, you know? But it's way more than that. It's the infinite. It is everything. It is nothing and everything at the same time, you know? Which is a crazy concept. But I think when you apply the idea that God is love, then yeah, that makes sense. But she said, love is just a means to an end. For a lot of people, that's how they operate. And I would urge you, in this moment, if that's how you operate, I would urge you to not look at it that way. Like, no. If you're just using love to get something else, you're doing it wrong, bubby. And like, I'm saying this also from the perspective of someone who is living rent-free in a really nice house, just simply because I'm a very loving person. And I think it's one of those situations where you have to like ignore the intentions of others and like make your intention so strong, you know? Because we could argue that his intentions are just to drain me, just to siphon me, just to use me, just to have me as a body, you know, as a powerful, magical body that I am. We could argue that. But I know that my intention is to have a comfortable place to live while I work on some projects, while I work on music, etc., etc. That is my intention. And then also, if we go deeper into that intention, my intention is also to make content that is uplifting to others and helpful to others on their journey. That's, you know, the selfless part. And the other person that I mentioned, the girl that I mentioned, who only socializes for benefit, whether or not that's true, because maybe that's a misjudgment, I don't know. But what I will say is that they have purposely went out of their way to not talk to me. And I don't know, like, it's really interesting to me the way that some people work, like psychologically. It's just like, I don't understand how you think that this was a good idea. Like, I don't understand how you thought that like focusing your energy on causing tension, causing drama was acceptable, you know? Because, and like, I don't know, it's one of those things where as a chosen one, as an enlightened person, as a bright energy, you're going to have people who look at you and find a reason not to like you. And her reason, even though she never communicated it to me directly, her reason was that I hit on one of her partners. And I have to emphasize that. Every time I talk about this shit, I have to emphasize that, because one of her partners, she has multiple partners. She is in a polyamorous relationship, right? She wasn't even in the room. And like, I don't know, to some degree, I could claim ignorance and say that I didn't know that that was her partner. But either way, you have multiple partners. There is no reason for you to be upset that somebody's hitting on your partner. Like, what? Girl, what? But, I don't know. Apparently, like, it could be because, like, I just made him feel uncomfortable. But, I don't know. Once again, when you are strong in your intentions, you kind of have to accept that some people are just not going to vibe with you. Because I tried to come to him because that's her partner. And we had a good rapport, I thought. You know, he said good morning, I said good morning. He said hey, I said hey. You know, it was friendly vibes, as I thought. And so I came to him and I was like, you know, is she mad at me? Like, what, is there something wrong? And I think before I said that, like, I was just like making small talk because, you know, he's a DJ and like I'm a musician, and I was like, you know, music. And I was like, we were talking about music, and then I was like, okay, and then does she have a problem with me? And he switched up so fast. And it was clear to me that this was something that was already there. Like, he already had a problem with me. He just doesn't know how to communicate that. And neither does she, because she defaulted to giving me the cold shoulder, you know? And sorry, I had a moment. Side note, I think the cold shoulder and like the silent treatment are just like so malicious in nature. Like, when you recognize, when you understand human nature and like how necessary it is for us to like feel accepted and feel welcome, it is such a malicious act. And sure, if somebody actively deserves it, if somebody did something to warrant, you know, being ostracized or whatever, sure, that's one thing. But you didn't even communicate to me that there was an issue, my love. And that's where I'm like fucked up. I'm like, what? Like, no one said to me, you know, I heard it through the, how do I say this? Through the person that like invited me to stay there. Like, I heard it through them, through the person who like owns the property. I heard that I had made him uncomfortable. He had never said it to me. She had never said it to me. And he had made it very clear through his actions, through his behavior, that we were on good terms and nothing was wrong. You know, and then I try to bring it up, I try to squash it because it's affecting me, and he's like, oh, you deserve that. And once again, you cannot take this shit personal. Because if I did what he wanted me to do, and I like took that personal, I would have been begging for a reconciliation. I would have been begging for him to like forgive me, you know? But I'm thankful that I was able to recognize that, like, hey, no, this is his own shit. I ain't got shit to do with this. I'm not about to deal with this. Like, I'm already dealing with whatever I'm dealing with. You know, I'm not about to add on to my plate. And then he called me insecure at some point too in the interaction, which, I don't know. I felt a tiny bit offended in the moment, but I was also just like appalled because I was just like, what? Insecure? You want to see how insecure I am not? Because I will walk away from this conversation, and I did. Granted, I waited until he like prompted me to turn away, because he started making it really uncomfortable and really tense, and he was like, get the fuck on. Get on out. And I turned around and I moved away from him, and he kept talking at me. He kept like yelling things to me, and I was like, I turned away. I don't know why you're still talking to me. And it's just like, once again, human psychology is interesting because I know personally that I crave peace. I crave, you know, a good time. I crave harmony. I even said that to his face, which he reacted really weirdly. And I know we could talk about demons. We could talk about how people got shit attached to them that sometimes they don't even know about. And the way that I know that, the way that I recognize that, is because sometimes I've said things that were clearly trying to incite harmony, and it created disharmony. You know, one time I was in an argument with someone, and if you can call it an argument, I don't know. Someone was upset about my presence, about my existence, for whatever reason. And I was trying to fix the issue because we were living in the same house. And I was like, my brother in Christ, why are you so upset? And when I tell you, me calling him my brother in Christ triggered him so much. Like, I thought it would have diffused the situation. Bitch, I was wrong, because he got more upset. And I was like, what? did I trigger your demons that badly, bro? Like, what? Like, I don't know. Because when we talk about demons, like, I feel like we always talk about it from like a good, bad perspective, but demons aren't inherently bad. I think if you look up the definition of a demon, it's really just a guide, you know? But either way, I said that, and he got so upset. And this is why it's so necessary for you to not take things personal when people say or do dumb shit to you, because they're just going through their own shit, you know? I think a beautiful part, and a dangerous part as well, about life is that we're all just living simultaneously in our own realities. You know, we all get to create our own realities. Not all of us are privy to that knowledge. Not all of us are aware that we get to create it, but we all get to create our own realities. And so, when two people collide, also I'm getting out of breath. I need to gather my breath. When two people collide, or more than two people collide, their realities collide. And the way that they see the world individually collides. And if it's compatible, you just get to keep on building. If it's not compatible, it's a battle. You know, nature's a battle. What did Willow say? You know, nature's a battle, and no one ever handled it the way our ancients did. No. Something like that, I don't know. But, and I don't know, I try to stay humble. I try to like maintain a grounded sense of self and understand that I'm still a work in progress. I'm not perfect per se, but to some degree, even when you look at my astrology chart, if I can like bring astrology into it, like I do have the energy of like perfection, if you will. Like my top 3 are all very intellectual energies. They're not all air, they're not all earth. Well, actually, no, that's not true. They are air and earth. I'm mostly air and earth. But I have the energy of perfection. Like Libra is my ascendant sign. And if you don't know, Libra is the sign of harmony, the sign of like togetherness and community and et cetera, et cetera. And some even consider Libra to be the God energy, you know, which, I don't know. My OCD kind of is annoyed by the numbering system because Virgo is number 6. And Libra is number 7. There's 12 signs in total, so that means that there's an uneven, like, you know, my OCD is just like, what? That doesn't make any sense. But, I don't know. If you're enjoying this for any reason, please don't hesitate to like the video and engage so I can make more of these. I've been making videos for how long? And I don't know. I feel like it's because I'm constantly rebranding and re-identifying why I'm not as popular as I could be. And just the same, I don't care about, you know, I don't know, delivering a certain sort of content. Like I used to be really particular about that. I used to do B-roll. I used to make some really pretty videos on my other page. You can still find that page if you want to look. But like, I used to be really good about that, right? And now I'm more laid back. Now I'm just like, okay, I'm just making content so that I can reach people who need it. It's not necessarily about how good it looks. It's not about, you know, any of that. It's just about making content that is useful, you know? So please like the video, despite my disgustingly sweaty face. I hate sweating so much. I don't know, this is a longer video. I really hope the audio is okay throughout this. Because if not, I'll be embarrassed. Because this is such a long video. Yeah, going back to what I said at the beginning, it's really hard for me to think and to like understand that a lot of people are very, very, very less than moral. You know? And like, to some extent, you can't really blame them because most people aren't really taught to have that in mind. A lot of people are just taught to survive and to thrive, you know? And if someone gets hurt in the process, it just is what it is, you know? But, I don't know. Before I started recording this video, I was thinking about a decision that I want to make to move away from where I'm living, you know. And I was kind of considering the person who invited me to stay there, you know. But, I don't know. I think everyone's capable of evolution. I think everyone's capable of doing better. But, I don't know. At the age of 70-something, I just don't know. Because, and to think that I'm so special that I could, like, trigger that is, like, kind of egotistical, kind of, like, self-grandizing. Because it's like, people are going to do what they want to do. And I've made videos about this the last few days. People are going to do what they want to do, regardless of you and how you show up. And, sure, sometimes we can inspire people to change, sure. But people are going to do what they want to do for the reasons that they want to do them. And I don't know. I do believe in love, and I do believe that there is a love out there for me. But I don't know. This particular part of the video, this goes out to anybody in a relationship with someone that they don't want to be in a relationship with. Like, I don't care what reason you're in that relationship for. You need to understand the importance of, like, maintaining your energy. And if you're attached to people who genuinely do not give a fuck about you, who genuinely just care about you in capacity to themselves, baby, you deserve better. Okay? Like, for sure. Whether you believe that or not, you deserve better. Because chances are, if you're watching this video, you are a person with a very, very rare energy. Like, and it's not on no cocky shit, but like, when you leave people's lives, you take with you something amazing, something beautiful, something precious, you know? And I had gotten into an argument with the dude that I'm staying with. I got into an argument with him. I'm on a bike on a very narrow street, so I have to be very vigilant. I had an argument with him like a week ago where I was about to leave. You know, I felt like the universe was like pulling me away from that place. It's like the third time that a specific situation had happened where I was prompted to leave, you know, and I had like an emotional breakdown. In that argument, I remember feeling so rooted in myself, so grounded in myself, that I didn't care what I was saying, because what I was saying was very true. I was like, you don't respect me. You don't actively show care for me. Like, you don't even ask me how I'm doing. You know, I was very, like, transparent with how I was feeling and what I was thinking. Also, I'm gonna, hold on. I'm just going, let's do it. Oh shit. And I said all this shit, not necessarily trying to change things, but just because that's how I was feeling and I had to let it out. And one thing that I said in relation to what I was just saying is, you know, maybe I should go. Like, I was so rooted in myself, so rooted in my divinity. I was just like, maybe I should go. Because if you're not going to respect the fact that because what sparked the argument or whatever, technically two things, 1.5 things, I guess. The first thing was that there was a quarter missing from his car. There was a quarter missing from his car. And I had taken the quarter. And sure, I can understand the principle of a thing. I can. I really can. But when I tell you he was like so irrationally upset about it, like he was going on about it for like a good however long. He didn't say anything else but talking about the quarter and how, like, when he found out who it was, he was gonna, like, kick them out or blah 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 blah, not let them use the car, etc., etc. And I'm just like, wow. Like, in the back of my head, I'm like, yeah, maybe I should go, because this is all he is. Like, he doesn't ask me how I'm doing. He doesn't try to invest in me. He doesn't, show concern for me. It's just, I'm just here. And one could argue that, yeah, I'm staying with him for free in my own room, so maybe I shouldn't ask for so much. But I feel like when we get into situations like that, when we have a job that is paying us, when we have a good support system that takes care of us, oh my God, the wind! I feel like we try to diminish our worth and what it is that we are worthy of because we are getting something in return. But it's like, no. There should be a standard. There should be, like, even if you are getting paid thousands of dollars, you should still be treated with respect. Even if you're getting an amazing opportunity, you should still be treated with respect. That is something that is at the core of my being. Like, I don't care how much I dislike someone or, like, anything like that. I'm going to try to give respect and be polite. And we got into that argument, and I was upset because the alternative to staying there was not that pleasant to me. Like, the options were staying on the floor of my mom's house because her living room is getting renovated, or going back to the shelter and enduring that for however long I had, because they actually changed their policies and now they allow for less time, which is so annoying. And not even just for me, but, like, just in general, like, when I think about how many people are in, like, a houseless situation, it's just, like, crazy that you would think that it's okay to, like, lessen the amount of time that you can stay there, That's crazy. But I digress. Yeah, I wasn't looking forward to it. I prayed on it. I, really, took every moment I could to express gratitude for my higher power, etc., etc. But I did not want to leave, And so what had happened was that he kind of had a change of heart. Like, he was in the middle of, like, about to drive me somewhere, who knows where. And he was just kind of, like, silently changing his mind. Oh my God, it is so windy. I fucking hate it so much right now. I love, like, if I wasn't recording, this would be beautiful. But I'm trying to record. Okay, I guess I'm going to close this out because I don't know how the audio sounds. And if I keep recording and I don't know. Yeah, so he changed his mind and he was like, without saying it, he said sorry. I was the first one to apologize. I'm always playing the bigger person. I was like, I'm sorry for the way that I reacted. If you still want me to leave, I can leave. But I'm sorry. And yeah, I don't know if it was because I apologized or just generally because, I'm an amazing person. But he was like, yeah, no, it's cool. I want you to stay. And I say all that to say that the decision that I'm trying to make is whether or not I should just, like, set up home somewhere else. Go to the shelter and stick that out for a while. There's a library nearby, so I could always go to the library over there. And the biggest thing that I just have to keep in mind is that I have to maintain my energy. Like, I'm writing a book. I don't talk about this book often because it's taken me forever to write it. But I'm writing this book, and in this book, I talk a lot about my homeless experience and how I learned how to be super protective of my energy during my homeless experience. Like, every night before I went to sleep, I made sure to pray. I made sure to wake up in the morning and really align my chakras. Like, I was like really about it spiritually, you know, because I felt like I had to be, because otherwise I was getting shit stolen, I was getting into annoying situations, and though there is something to be said about, oh my god, why is it so windy? I'm just like, damn, bro. Okay, I'm gonna end the video here. Hope this was useful. Hope I said something helpful for you. I hope you have a nice rest of your day. Have a good one. Bye.